Today we're going to take you through some pelvic tilting and some breathing, and then we're going to put the pelvic tilting and the breathing together. So find a comfy place to lay down on your mat, knees bent, feet flat, arms can be long at your sides. Alternatively, you can take your fingertips and place them on your hip points, the part of the pelvis that sticks out at the front of the body. You're going to take those hip points and roll them towards your ribs, and then you're going to roll those hip points away from your ribs. Rolling those hip points towards your ribs, rolling those hip points away from your ribs. You can feel that distance between hips and ribs shorten and lengthen. When the hips come towards the ribs, the distance shortens. When the hips move away from the ribs, the distance lengthens. So feeling that change on the front of your body, and letting the pelvis roll with a lot of ease. So ideally, this should feel really relaxing, restorative. The neck and shoulders are relaxed. The bum isn't clenching or squeezing. And then if we start to think about the length of our abdominal muscles, our muscles around the belly, perhaps you can start to visualize that when the hip points move away from the ribs, those abdominal muscles lengthen. And when the hip points move towards the ribs, the abdominal muscles shorten. So those hip points move away from the ribs, the abdominal muscles lengthen, and hip points move towards the ribs, abdominal muscles shorten. So just bringing this idea into our mind that pelvic tilting work is in fact core work. We're toggling those core muscles, those abdominal muscles, in between a lengthened muscle action and a shortened muscle action. And then we'll pause in between our two end ranges. So no more moving the pelvis for now. Arms can rest at your sides. And we'll start to inhale for a 5 count. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. X. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You keep going with that pattern of inhaling for 5 and exhaling for 5. And then can you do your inhalations through your nose? And your exhalations out through the mouth. So your inhalations come in gently through the nose. And your exhalations, almost like a sigh, out through the mouth. You're continuing with that slow 5 count in. And that slow 5 count out. Now, when you're inhaling, your lips are gently connected to one another, mouth closed. See if you can do that inhalation, lips gently pressing, And the inhale is very quiet. See if your inhalation can feel almost like a breeze coming in through the nostrils. There's no efforting or sucking the air in. The air is falling into the body, breathing into the body. And then we switch to some cues for our exhale. So as we exhale, the jaw gently opens like it's a hinge, and it's just kind of falling off its hinges. That jaw just opens, and we exhale out. So the jaw falls off its hinges, jaw is very relaxed, and the exhale just falls out of the body. You can maybe picture some muffins that have come out of the oven. They're really, really full on the tops. And then as they start to cool, those muffin tops fall a little bit. And you just exhale that air out. And then can you check back in with your inhale? That the lips are gently closed, air breathing into the body. And then jaw softens, unhinges, and the air falls out of the body. And you're going to try a few of these on your own, reminding yourself of those cues and being as soft as possible on the inhale and the exhale. Now we're going to place the hands on our belly. And I want you to notice how the belly rises as you inhale, and the belly falls as you exhale. So that belly rises on the inhale and falls on the exhale. So on that inhale, the abdominal muscles are lengthening as the belly rises. And on the exhale, those belly muscles are shortening as the belly falls. So see if you can connect now breath to abdominal muscles lengthening on the inhale, abdominal muscles shortening on the exhale, abdominal muscles lengthening on the inhale, abdominal muscles shortening on the exhale. Then we rest our fingertips on our hip points, our thumbs on our ribs. Try to have the thumbs directly above or stacked above the hip points. And we go back to our pelvic tilting. Hip points towards ribs, abdominal muscles shorten. Hip points away from ribs, abdominal muscles lengthen. Hip points towards ribs, abdominal muscles shorten. Hip points away from ribs, abdominal muscles lengthen. Now, could you match your breathing of abdominal shortening, lengthening, with the mechanics of pelvic tilting? So we want to exhale as we bring our hips towards ribs, abdominal shortening. And inhale as we bring our hips away from ribs, abdominals lengthening. So both the action of the pelvic tilt and the exhale shorten the abdominals, hips to ribs, and hips away from ribs, and the inhale lengthen the abdominals. So we exhale, hips to ribs, abdominals shorten. We inhale, hips away from ribs, abdominals lengthen. Exhale, hips towards ribs, abdominals shorten. Inhale, hips away from ribs, abdominals lengthen. Try a few without my verbal cues, finding your own rhythm, coordinating breathing and pelvic tilting. Can you relax through the upper body? Can you focus on that nasal inhale, lips together? When you exhale, lips part, jaw falls off its hinges a little, and hips towards ribs. Moving with ease, nice relaxed breath. And then we pause. You can come on up to seated or standing. Maybe have a little walk about your space and give yourself a little hug for taking care of your pelvis and your breathing. Hopefully that felt nice and relaxing. Take care.